Today we have a beautiful little blade with gorgeous damaskus pattern. In all Western countries, damaskus steel blades cost a lot of money, but I was able to find this one on Chinese websites for something like 14 euros or 16 US dollars. So what are we going to do? Make a nice looking knife handle that should match the beauty of this blade. For the handle wood, I have chosen plum fruit tree wood that has this natural reddish tone, which will be even more visible once the wood is protected with any kind of finishing oil. With a pencil, I'm trying to mark how much of this wood I would need and also choose the area where the wood grain is not monotone. In other words, where growth rings will be visible afterwards on the handle, which always stands out and looks nice. Because I live in an apartment with no access to proper tools, with a handsaw, after a lot of effort, I was able to cut our piece of wood to the exact size, but also to cut the wood horizontally in order to make handle scales. With a drill, I will be making the holes through which the mosaic pins will be later inserted. The blade comes with holes already, so I'm just drilling through scales trying to align the scales with the blade. Mosaic pins usually come as one long tube that needs to be cut to the desired length. So the easiest thing to do is to put the knife handle together and then cut it with a handsaw or some other tool depending on what you have at hand. Scales need to be glued together, and for this I'm using the epoxy resin. The resin consists of two components that, once mixed together, create the reaction that leads to hardening of the resin. The trouble is, mine is hardening in 5 minutes and I really needed to be fast here. Otherwise, I could have ruined the entire project. So, apply resin on one scale. Insert the pins. Add resin to the pins. Put the blade on top and do the same thing for the other scale. After the resin hardens, we can start sanding the knife handle. Again, since I live in an apartment, I'm using the Dremel tool and not a belt sander machine that would make the life much easier. I will try to reduce the thickness of the handle on all sides until it feels good in a hand and it looks good. So halfway through, the handle is starting to take shape and it already looks nice. With a file, I will expose the ridges that already existed on the back of the steel knife form. Since we have quite a small knife, this will provide some additional grip when trying to cut something, and I believe it will add to the overall look of the handle. With the Dremel sanding bands, we need to do some more sanding in order to make the last touches before our damaskus knife is ready. Finally, with some fine grit sandpaper, we can make the surface as smooth as possible and finish with sanding the handle. To protect the wood, I have decided only to use the teak oil. If some kind of lacquer is used, the handle would be shinier, but I personally don't like the feel of it. So for me, the teak oil will be sufficient. You, on the other hand, can choose whatever finish you prefer. And here is the finished knife. It is my first damaskus steel knife and the first knife handle I have ever made in my life. I'm super pleased with how it turned out and how the mosaic pins stand out. So let me know what you think. Until the next time, have a good one.